Hello friends. I've been doing a couple videos lately in the middle more of summer when you would think I'm gonna stop planting because it's gonna be hotter and drier. We've been having really good moisture the last couple of years, kind of throughout the year. But more so, I always kind of live by the ethos, if I have the time, the energy, and the availability of plants to plant, I'm gonna plant them probably all spring, summer, and fall. And that's because if they're gonna sit in a nursery, they're just as good in the ground at home, if not better, because they want to be in the ground, right? So behind me you see my gator is full of plants. So last fall, I think it was last fall, I filmed kind of a video of showing at my mom's farm, which is where I'm standing right now. I kind of redid the entry. I had some stone put in to use some architectural salvage pieces we had. This is one of the two mirroring entry points at my mom's. We had these top finials, oh man, it's probably been over 10 years ago we found them in Des Moines, Iowa, which is the capital, at a salvage store, these tall pieces. And always had been kind of wanting a place to put them, and I told Mom really they're entry point to me ones. And I had a couple plinths placed on top of each other. I had these put in professionally so they wouldn't move. They have a base under them of rock. And what I really like about them is, it's such a beautiful point. And it's a little bit of a juxtaposition for a farm, right? You don't always see things like this as you enter a farm, and I think that's what I like about them. So in front of it, I had planted last fall, just quickly to have something kind of in the ground. Some cat's pajamas nepeta, they stay smaller. A new version of a rudbeckia that stays a little shorter is just about to bloom. Some millennium allium. And at the moment they're doing fine. I may still want to put in some more things, but what we're talking about today is what's going in here behind. So there's a big area, and I want something that feels a little bit stately, but also can do well in some odd conditions. So right here we have a mix of shade and sun. It's a little bit more shade probably than full sun because of a big old silver maple, and then on the other side we have some crab apples and some oaks in her front yard. We are by the road on this entry, so you're gonna hear cars going by, and that's part of how it is sometimes. We live on a highway, even though we live in a rural area, right? And that means cars go by. But what that also means is I want it to look nice, and I want it to be a little bit showy. So I'm gonna do some things that to me are maybe a little classic for a farm, and also just to me make sense, because this is kind of an area that it's not too far. Like, it's actually pretty close to a hydrant, but Mom doesn't have a watering system. So once things are established, she doesn't want to have to water them obviously too often unless we're in, more of a drought year in the middle of summer, other than once they're getting established, obviously, which always takes more care. So these look like a traditional smooth hydrangea or an Annabelle hydrangea, but they are a new to me hydrangea. I'm not used to this one. This is called a flowerful smooth hydrangea, which is a smooth hydrangea, but what's great is they're a little bit newer. So I'm gonna be honest, when I'm going to plant an area like this, what I really try to do is plant something. I don't really plan ahead, honestly. I go to my local nursery and I like to look around because I'm the type, I don't know if you're like this too, I'm tactile. I like to look and see and feel and kind of see what inspires me at the time. Because so often if I plan ahead, I'm not someone that orders usually lots of large plants. I want to be able to go and see what it is. If I plan ahead, they may not have what I want. So when I was there, I was looking at these and I thought, well, I love the idea of just kind of an Annabelle hydrangea because it's very classic for a farmstead, right? And they can take some shade, they can take some sun. What's nice about these flowerful ones, they're supposed to stay more upright. I really like that idea because in rain and wind, they're supposed to be a little bit more sturdy and don't just flop over as much. So I think out here, they're gonna really be good. Now, those are great, and I could only do those and those would be fine, they would fill in, but I want something that has kind of some more year-round interest. Smooth hydrangeas pretty much die back to the ground. They'll have some winter interest, but not to me that much. And they're pretty, in their winter, usually the snow could usually pack them down too. So I wanted something that was a little bit more of an anchor plant. Something that would be able to withstand these big finials because they have a big presence on their own. Not distract from them, but just kind of highlight them a little bit. For that, we're doing just a beautiful Captain Yew. So Captain Yews, yews, they're hard, they're rugged. They can really take the elements, which is what I need out here, right? So what I like about a yew, I was at first wanting to be a little bit different, wanting to find something that was maybe, I was looking at hemlocks. Some of the hemlocks, as opposed to just a straight Canadian hemlock that gets really big, there's some newer varieties that stay smaller, can take some shade. But what I'm worried about is hemlocks like a lot of moisture. And we're out here kind of in the elements. During dry years, it can be really dry in Iowa, especially right out here. So yews, once they're established, they can take some dry conditions. They can also do well in partial shade. They can do well in the sun. What I like about a Captain, it gets a little bit larger, but you can control it and keep it a pyramidal shape just by, you know, trimming it and pruning it. So what I like is, while they don't maybe push the boundaries, they're not maybe something that's out of the box, they work. And sometimes we choose things that work. And what I like is that shape and height, I think, will work really well to be a nice kind of anchor in this corner. So I can let it get the size I want and let it really fill in and shape it along the way. When I'm going to do something like this, you know, the main thing I really try to think of is, what are my light requirements? What are my size requirements over time? And really, I just want this area to look full and beautiful. It's not supposed to be overly manicured. I don't want lots of small things that take lots of care and pruning. Other than shaping this once a year, trimming these down once a year, it's pretty maintenance free, and I really like that. What I usually do is I place my plants first. This is very of the moment. I'm not really worried too much about this. So I place them around, and I really much know I'm making pretty much a square back here. I have 4 plants total. 3 are the hydrangea, 1 is the yew. The yew is going in the center, you can see that. It's gonna be this anchor plant back here. And it can get some size to it, right? So I'm gonna bring it out a little bit. I'm gonna keep a couple feet at least around it on both sides. Now these walls are just set on stone. They're not a concrete footing or anything, and they're pretty low key and low maintenance. So what I wanna do is remove some of the mulch. I put mulch here last year just to somewhat help with a weed barrier, and it has done mostly the job. There's obviously been some weed issues that we've had to come in and weed, but now once I get done, I'll probably mulch it definitely with like a 2 to 3 inch layer to make sure it's really suppressing those weeds. But other than that, I know where my underground wirings are. They're not right here, so I can start digging. Always check for underground wirings. You know, I live in a rural area. I live on a farm. Other than way up by the road, we don't really have too many that I don't know about, obviously, around the farm. But it's always a good idea to have locates checked and called, even if you're unsure, because you want to make sure you don't hit anything. So you maybe can see here, I have really nice soil, I will admit that. But the one thing I do have to watch for, this big old silver maple can have some roots that come into here. I'm not worried if I have to break through, you know, some smaller ones. If there would be a really big one, obviously, that would be an issue. But what that also means is it does stay drier here. Maples have shallow roots, especially silver maples. So this will always be a little bit more of a dry area, and I can tell that as I'm digging. Like, we've had some good moisture this year, but this soil is not wet by any means. Now, it's beautiful to work in, but it's not wet. Before I put it in, I always want to see what size root ball I'm going to be working with. And I can tell this is a pretty well grown in tree. The roots are just wanting to kind of peek out the bottom of that pot. So sometimes a good kick on it could help. Sometimes if roots are really tight, you may have to actually cut it away. Now, if we look, these are really tight roots. So we're gonna work on that in a second. Height-wise, I'm just about there, because you know I like to always plant things a little high, because I find that things always settle over time. And if you plant them too deep, those roots don't often get the right oxygen they need. So if anything, I always plant them just a little high, kind of like I do my trees, just to make sure we're thinking of those roots. So to prepare this hole, I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm of course gonna do some biotone. You know I always love biotone, but we're also gonna mix it. So everything that we're planting today happens to be acidic loving plants. So most evergreens, not all of them, but most evergreens are acidic loving, but hydrangeas also are. So along with biotone, I'm gonna be adding some hollytone. Hollytone works great on holly, azalea, but also on hydrangeas, on certain evergreens like yews that like a little bit of acidity. Because honestly, here in Iowa, I do not have acidic soil. I have very neutral pH, which is good, but sometimes plants do like a little acidity, so I'm mixing the 2 right in here. Now we can talk about this root ball. Now you can see it's pretty well growing in, But with a couple cuts from my outdoor knife, I can start opening up those roots. And that's what I like to do. I like to scarify them and open them up. I want them to get acclimated into my soil. I think sometimes roots, I always like to say, they have a memory. And if they're too tight and wound up, they kind of only remember that. They don't soak up water as well. It's hard to saturate them, and they don't branch out into your soil. So breaking them up a little bit, I'm saying maybe 2 inches deep with this knife, 6 to 8 times around the root ball, that's enough. Then I always set my plant or tree. You know, this is big enough, it's almost like a very small tree. So I set it in place, make sure it's level, check the depth. I don't want it to be planted too deep, but I want it to be just slightly above kind of where it was in the pot, knowing it's gonna settle a little bit. And now I'm gonna drench it with water to make sure it's really well soaked before I put soil back around it. I picked a nice humid day to do this, didn't I? You don't know it, but it's really humid here. I'm gonna now just plant, you know, these 3 hydrangeas around it, pretty much in the same fashion. You don't have to worry about being, you know, there's nothing, hydrangeas, they're all pretty simple. Plant them at the right height. In the middle of summer, like we're getting into, and in the heat, really the thing is, yes, maybe in direct sun in the middle of the day, I don't wanna kind of stress those roots by breaking them up, but it's overcast today. Otherwise, I would do it maybe more towards the evening when the sun isn't directly overhead. But really, it's just watering them from here on out. Now notice, when the roots aren't near as tight as they were on, say, that yew, I don't go in and stress them out near as much. Instead, what I do is I just lightly kind of with my hands, break them up a little bit. Other than that, they don't need anything else. So if we look, obviously I'm gonna put mulch on it really quick to have some really nice impact. Now I am prepared that this year, if we get really strong winds, you know, they're growing in a way that they're gonna bloom at the nursery and look really good. They don't have the root base, so they could kind of break right now in the wind because they're so tall, a little top heavy, but they still are nice and showy for now at least, kind of in the right time. Now right now it looks like these hydrangeas are really tall compared to that yew. In time, this yew, it actually grows pretty well, probably in time eventually 8 to 12 inches a year. So it won't take any time for it to start surpassing these and get some nice kind of big, beautiful structure behind that finial. So I have one more side to do and then I'm done with the entry for now. Hot and sweaty, but let's look at it. So that's the other thing in the summer, right? It's hotter, so it's not as fun to plant outside, but it still is a great time. So I do have soil displaced everywhere. I will be putting mulch back on top to cover it up for moisture retention, weed suppression, and it's a front entry just to look good too. From the house and everywhere else in the yard, you're gonna see these beautiful pops of color, especially against that dark green yew on both sides, and that's what I really like. You know, you can use them for cut flowers. They just look nice, and as they say they should hold up really well and be more sturdy. Next year, I actually hope to extend that new bed Mom and I put in last year on Mother's Day all the way over to here, so it will really tie in well with this area, and I think just kind of create a beautiful closed-in yard on this side, as you can see. But until then, this is a great start. I will fill in probably with something here in the corner, but honestly, this is what I do. I do it in parts and just as it comes to me and as I'm able to. I think a lot of times we get overwhelmed with maybe designing our own yard or putting plants in. And I take the approach that as it comes to me, I sometimes live with it bare. This has been bare since last fall. And I've just waited to see what's gonna hit me for inspiration. This hit me the other day when I was at the nursery and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. Don't feel bad living with that and just taking time. So let me know your problem areas. Let me know what you're planting, what you're excited for, or maybe not excited for. But hopefully it's something fun in the garden.